Welcome to SaaS Unlocked. I'm really excited today for this special podcast. I've been working with Lior to schedule time, but finally we agreed on certain timings and things work out. And he's on the show. I'm very excited today. Today we are really thrilled to welcome Lior. Lior is a co-founder and COO at Moburst, a mobile-first marketing agency that helps companies scale and become category leaders. With over a decade of experience in mobile marketing, a passion for turning online marketing into science, Lior has helped over 100 companies, from startups to global brands such as Google, Samsung, Pfizer, achieve success through expertise in app store optimization, user acquisition, creative services. Join us as we deep dive into the world of mobile marketing with Lior. Welcome to the show, Lior. We are really excited to have you here.
Thank you, Pratik. Happy to be here.
So, to begin with, I would really like to shed some light on your personal side of story, on how you got into this industry. What is your background? Although we have an introduction, but hearing from you would be amazing.
Sure. So I think I've been passionate about internet marketing like ever since the beginning. I remember like 2007. It was kind of Wild West with Google just kind of becoming what it is. So I initially got into SEO as kind of my dip in the toe of digital marketing, and worked for a UK-based agency on a few projects there, and that got me some initial understanding of what works. And again, it was Wild West in terms of what you could do then. I then went into a field called online reputation management, which is kind of similar but different in the sense that rather than promoting one website for several keywords, you're usually promoting one keyword, a name of a brand, a name of a company, etc. So that was kind of a different aspect of how does Google rank, what kind of results is Google looking for, what might he be missing, the algorithm missing, speaking about a certain person, a certain company. So I did that for a couple of years. It was basically a startup based out of Tel Aviv, worked with high net worth individuals, companies. And ended there as one of the senior marketing guys, and that was right when the boom of the kind of mobile, and I knew that's where I wanted to go next. So
when it was, how long ago, if you can just share?
That was 2013-ish. So that was almost 10 years ago.
That's exactly when I moved to Israel. So wow.
Great timing. Yeah. So and I think also in Israel, kind of a lot of excitement around mobile, Waze, and all these amazing Israeli startups in this space. So I connected with Gilad, which is a friend from the army from years ago. He was kind of already doing. He had a lot of experience in kind of apps and the mobile space, and was running a kind of one-man consultancy show, so we kind of connected and decided to make a company out of it. 10 years later, here we are. He's in the States. I'm in Israel. We're a bit more than 80 people serving, I think, over 100 clients today, all over the world, US based. And worked with, you mentioned some of the biggest names out there. There are many big names that we still work with, but we can't tell. But I think we're gained a lot of background in around mobile marketing. I remember when you started off kind of ASO, we needed to explain every meeting, what is ASO, app store optimization, why do you need it? And today it's, there's it's kind of one of the basics, I think, for any app marketer out there to do ASO. So it's been amazing to see the growth of this industry and the growth of Moburst within it.
Fascinating story. I'm like kind of inspired because running a company with over like so many employees, it's like kind of task in itself, and working with like leaders in apps or the bigger brands that you mentioned, it's a success, man. Like, kudos to you and your team working in this new market, which was like kind of an opportunity initially. So really hats off. I wanted to learn more bit about Moburst in terms of like how do you serve customers in what spaces, industry, what is exactly the problem you're solving for customers?
Sure. So I think we've worked with the whole range from small startups to Google and Dunkin' Donuts and the likes of huge brands.
Mhm.
I think our sweet spot is usually brands and companies needing to take the right steps or the initial steps in this kind of world of app marketing. So either I think Reddit is an example where they were just launching their app, so no kind of experience in mobile whatsoever. So we helped them get that up and running. So it's either for the big guys, it's usually like we're kind of the vendor that deals with their mobile marketing needs, be it ASO or user acquisition, creative, etc.
Mhm.
And we have many other clients which are kind of small to medium in terms of US marketing. So anywhere from I don't know, $50,000 a month of marketing budget up to $1 million or so,
Mhm.
which for them we're just extension. We are their marketing team, so usually it's just a small in-house team, and we kind of provide all of the services. We have, and I think one of the things that we're very proud of is that we. Because we worked with so many startups through the years, and we have kind of a strategy service, which is really meant for these kind of smaller startups which are just in their initial phase. And we've just recently had a few clients which started at a small consultancy. We kind of give them the best of all our services, and then they usually we build a marketing plan together, they go and raise money. And then they come back to us like when they're ready for growth.
Mhm.
We've just had, I think, 2 or 3 examples of apps that even in the difficult market that we're seeing now managed to kind of work with them initially, build a growth plan, raise money, and now we're working on their growth.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's kind of in a nutshell, I think, and also it's worth mentioning that in the past 2 or 3 years, we in the core we're very mobile oriented, app oriented, but in the last few years we've become more kind of digital mobile first, so expanded into not just doing ASO, doing SEO, not only mobile user acquisition but also digital. We've done that through a few acquisitions we did. So we acquired in 2019 an agency called Clutch, a digital agency, and
Yeah.
last we acquired a dev shop called Lior. So today we're more kind of full service digital in terms of we have development in house, we have video production and influencer marketing. So 23 different services. But I think our specialty is probably around the mobile marketing piece, where we have a lot of track record.
So now, when it comes to the specific speciality that Moburst shares with the world, I would like you to ask a question here in terms of like, how does App Store optimization ensure clients' app stand out? Maybe it's more technical question. If you want to shed some light on how you actually do it, if you have some steps that can be like help clients understand the process that Mobilemarketing follows.
Sure. So first, I think one of the mistakes that many app developers take is kind of, if you build it, they will come. They launch an app, there's great excitement, but then nobody downloads it. I think there's I saw a stat that I think I don't remember if it was around 60 or 70% of apps on Google Play have barely been downloaded. So there are a lot of graveyard of apps that nobody is reaching to, and the reason is that it's just impossible to. You can't just launch if you want to compete. Like it's you need people to find you, and that's I think where ASO comes. We like to look at ASO as kind of a having two legs. One is the discoverability. You want to make sure that if people are searching for relevant terms, they will find you. But then whoever finds you, that's we want them to also have an experience. The kind of stat is that people go into the app page, have 3 to 6 seconds, and then make the decision whether to download or not. So you want to make sure that the experience is good enough that the user will hit the download button and give our app a try. So that's kind of the reason why for ASO. In terms of the practicality, it's it is quite technical and nuanced. Also, the Google Play algorithm is different than the App Store. But generally, I think one is that an app has as it kind of grows, its competitive landscape change. When you're a new app, you can't really compete with millions of downloads. So as an app grows, the competitive landscape changes, and therefore the keywords they can go for are more competitive. But primarily, I think there's all these what we call meta tags that we can where we can affect the keywords. There's in Google Play and App Store, there's a bit different in terms of how do we call the app, what are the keywords, what's in the description, in order to kind of signal to the algorithm what kind of keywords do you want to rank for. And it's an iterative process. Like we usually do a very thorough keyword research, see what are users searching for, what do we think based on where this app is at and the amount of downloads and reviews, etc. What do we think are where the opportunities lies in terms of what keywords can they actually rank for, and then see how we can introduce them in the different meta tags of the app. Upload that, see how that goes, what the app actually ranked for, and kind of iteratively see what effect has. And we're using like multiple sources of data, and one of the things that Apple introduced a few years ago was that they started to run Apple search ads, and that gives us a lot of intel on what kind of keywords users are actually downloading and what keywords actually drive revenue or signups, all that kind of stuff. So we usually kind of also runs Apple search ads and kind of learn from that which kind of keywords work and build a coherent strategy or a holistic strategy on what keywords do we want to go for organically, what keywords we want to bid on paid, and what keyword we want to go for both because we just want to own that keyword.
Incredible. Thank you for sharing this detailed insight here. Now, let's switch gears towards more on the entrepreneurial side and kind of a success story side. You're working with global brands, bigger names. What do you consider a key factor towards success of Moburst?
So I think there's I think in our early days, I think we were early movers in the sense that there was this new niche of mobile marketing. There weren't the traditional agencies didn't really give any solutions. So we were early in that market of providing services and solutions to app developers. I think today, when there's so many agencies and every agency and traditional agency also kind of provides services around the app because people know that that's where folks are on mobile. I think that's where the professionalism and kind of track record and really understanding. We've worked with all the MMPs, mobile measurement providers, and we know all the nuances of, okay, now there's a year and a half ago, there was a this new iOS privacy. So we're very much in the details of how that works, what's the best practices, how to help developers. So I think the being on kind of top of our game and making sure we have the right team members. I think the majority of team members are really experienced in the specific. We have folks that deal with the product, how to deal with the proper onboarding, how to get registration, more data oriented in terms of how to deal with tracking and all of that, and of course PPC, ASO. So I think there's a lot of different specialties which we kind of grew through the year, and I think today that's probably one of our competitor advantages, where most I don't know, in-house or agencies usually have kind of one or two people who do it all. We really have specialties in terms of our teams and capabilities.
Managing process of systems in agency can get tedious. Sometimes the results that client is expecting is not met because we are working with several clients, for example. How do you kind of manage this process very well within Moburst so that each and every client is able to achieve the KPIs that they're looking for and you are actually exceeding the expectation? So what kind of culture that you have built around the company that is enabling you to be successful?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the client expectation part starts from the sales process. So we really do a lot of effort also in how we sell and onboard clients to make sure we kind of set realistic goals and they know what they're signing up for and not kind of selling them on dreams. So doing that setting expectation part is usually starts from the sales, and as a client onboards, we have an account management team. Part of the onboarding process is obviously the brief and brand guidelines and all of that, but also what are your KPIs? And one of the things we find is that clients don't always know what are their KPIs, or sometimes it's some kind of business objective, and now we need to see or help them find how we can tie that to our activity. Do we have the right events in our tracking system? And that's also a process of kind of, okay, let's look at the data. Is the benchmarks realistic? This is like what we're seeing in your vertical. So 100% agree that client expectations need to be. So we try to under promise and over deliver. I know that's a cliche, but we really try in terms of how we also train our team. But I think that it's all part of the onboarding and essentially setting that expectation initially with the client.
Excellent. I think this is important when it comes to under promising. They have certain expectation. You when you close that, and then you give them above and beyond what is something that is expected on paper, that creates really a wow experience instead of over promising, and then meeting that promise won't create that vibe that they are looking for. That brings me to a question, which is you are kind of an agency for marketing, or again, that falls under marketing eventually. So how do you market your business or agency so that you are kind of having successful brands working with you? I'm sure you did something which is different from competitors and you were able to stand out. Would you like to share that?
Yeah. So I'll give you the anecdote of kind of our story, where we, as I mentioned, we launched in 2013, very quickly went out to the US at I think in 2015 we opened an office in the US, and slowly but surely established a brand and grew organically, and we were at a comfortable rate. We got a few, I think at the time it was I don't know, 100 200 organic inbound leads a month, and then kind of grew at a steady state, and then COVID hit 2020, and suddenly no leads, because all marketing budgets were paused. our existing, many of our existing clients kind of, paused budgets. We were working with discovery at the time. So everyone kind of freaked out, okay, and kind of did budget changes. And that kind of forced us to say, okay, we can't just live on inbound. Let's be more aggressive. We also had some free team members now that the client cut some budgets. So we really went more aggressive on and started to do marketing for ourselves, landing pages, PPC, like sponsored listings and newsletters, all that stuff. And fast forward, 6 months, we kind of had the perfect storm of, okay, now that I think it was Q4 of 2020, that clients understood that COVID is here to stay. They still need to pour their marketing budgets. Even more so, budgets were moving towards mobile and digital. And our marketing efforts were paying off because we had all these different touch points with clients through email, through different marketing efforts. And from there, we kind of are today using the marketing just as a lever to control our growth, essentially. So from 2020 to 2023, we probably, I don't know, 3 or 4x the company in terms of the size of the business and the amount of people. And today, I think that's definitely one of the things that we discovered is that as an agency, we can do the marketing for ourselves, use the internal skills and abilities we have, which is always within an agency not so easy to manage because clients always take preference. So how do you manage the resources? But we've learned to figure out a system to kind of have a certain percentage of the team's time allocated towards our own marketing, and that enables us to continue growing.
Love it. There's always one thing that when you're running an agency, it's important because client is evaluating you with other agencies as well. So how do you, like, when clients ask you why you are the best or why I should go with you, what is something that is you're saying to client that kind of convinces them to move forward with Moburst?
So we have lots of stats. Like I think we have like that there's only a certain number of apps with more than 1 billion downloads, and we worked with I think 40% of them. So all kinds of these tidbits in terms of I think there aren't as many agencies with our track record, again, especially looking on mobile, but today we also have great case studies on digital and stuff like that. So I think that the track record is something that definitely plays to our advantage, and also the fact that we, as I mentioned, we really kind of are on top of. So influencer marketing is now kind of a household name. So when it started to take off, I think 2 or 3 years ago, we kind of opened our influencer marketing team, and that's kind of been one of our fastest growing pieces of the business, and how to do influencer marketing for performance and for mobile apps. How does that work in terms of tracking? So all that kind of good stuff. I think because we were very curious and fast learners and try out things, it kind of enables us to also introduce new services for the benefit of our clients.
There are a lot of founders or CEOs listening to this, for sure. So as a marketing expert, what is like top one source of leads that actually convert for your business, for example?
I think that's really depending on I don't know if there's one size fits all.
It's more of like either it can be you say that investment goes around building a brand, which takes time, but eventually the track record helps them convert better. But eventually, like if somebody's starting out, any startup in SaaS industry or in any other space, what is something that they should corely focus on first thing?
So I think I'm trying to understand, and then again, coming from an SEO background, I look at most things from that perspective. But what are your potential customers looking for? I think we over the years looked very hard, not only on SEO for ourselves, but also like, are there big, there's all these websites which list agencies, or these websites which rank agencies and stuff like that. So make sure to have that your online reputation, or that your initial impression is such that wherever clients are searching, they'll eventually find you. So that's one of the things that we kind of try to look at. And it's funny that now with all we're playing a lot with ChatGPT and all of that. And I think because of the work we've done, if you ask ChatGPT on the top mobile marketing agencies, we're number one, because I assume that ChatGPT also did kind of scraping and stuff like that. And like a human, he saw that, okay, there's all these places which are pointing to Moburst as one of the leading, then I'll list them in those top rankings. So I think start to understand like what customers are searching for. Content marketing, I think, is more of a long-term play, but thought leadership, content marketing, I think building kind of even a personal brand. I think that you're a good example for the work you're doing on LinkedIn, that kind of people find you and then can find the agency. So there's a lot of different ways to get to that, but I think it's all about where are your customers looking for and what are they looking for, trying to be there wherever they're looking for it.
Excellent. This was very insightful, I think, to the point about business, but I want to just like spend 3 more minutes in terms of like, discovering more of entrepreneurial side of yours as a person. So this is a rapid fire. I'll ask you 5 questions.
Sure.
And it can be either one-liner or it can be in detail. So whatever you prefer. Name one other company and CEO that inspires you and why.
Wow. There's a lot. I mean, I try to learn both from peers in the industry. So there's a company called Stormaven in our industry, which we're good friends with, and I think they recently they sold last year, and I think they've done a great job with kind of cultivating a unique culture. So that's one shout out, and then maybe the more some more famous ones. Yeah, there's so many. I've in the past few years I've gone deeper into Twitter, and I think there's all these different threads of top 10 top. So I actually find a lot of good stuff from there. Like there's really so much resources on management, productivity, and I think lots of stuff also just from own experience.
And when it comes to own experience, there's a second question. What is one of the best business advice you've ever received?
I think I don't know if it was an advice or a learning. It's all mixed together. But I think in our early days, and also me personally, I was kind of professional basketball player growing up. So kind of working hard ethic is really ingrained in me, and understanding that yes, you need to work hard, but it's not only about the working hard and being the hustle culture, but it's also on being smart and what you work on and where you put your hours and just generally like procedures and delegations and all that kind of stuff. So the kind of working smart, not necessarily like you can work hard, but the working smart and what you work on is more important. And to add to that, I think the focus, like what not to work on, and as an entrepreneur, especially like in an agency, there's so much things that client ask you to. There's so much things you could do, like how to kind of keep yourself and the team focused is something that is very difficult, and I think is something that you need to be true to yourself and your company on what you do, what you don't do. I think the fact that we were 2 co-founders, we help each other kind of balance in terms of what's relevant, what's not relevant, we're both entrepreneurs in terms of have all these initiatives we want to take, but we have a business, we need to focus. So I think to add into the working smart, the focus is super important.
Makes sense, 100%. What's one skill that has helped you personally become successful in what you're doing today?
I like to think that just how to management and leadership, and how to get people, employees, clients believe in you and the vision. And I think we've at this point have employees that are running with us for 5, 6, 7 years.
Wow.
And to on the one hand, like, be able to have, I'm talking about the employees now, kind of give them the feeling that you're looking after them and that you care about them, but also kind of ask them for good work, and as an agency, especially one that's working with US clients, then after hours calls and stuff like that is something that that happens quite often, and being able to kind of have a relationship and trust in the team that kind of makes them want to go that extra effort, I think is something that is probably in our business very, very important, because it's so much a team effort and a people business.
100%. People is everything for the company, and I think they are like kind of backbones of what we do. So I won't ask you 5. Let's keep it short because we are running out of time.
Yep.
One last question to end this. What movie or a book or a TV show that has changed your life?
There's also quite a few, but I'll try to be
What is
to
number
be
one that
short.
is actually you enjoy and you learned and you implemented, and that is something that worked, which is why you are today what you are?
The one that comes to mind is that the Michael Jordan TV show on Netflix. I'm a big fan, as I played basketball, and so I kind of grew up on Michael Jordan stories, and to see kind of when that Netflix show came out, to see the backstory of kind of him and how he thinks, and kind of winning at all costs, and that mental how he on the one hand worked harder than anyone else, but was also so the mental toughness. So that was very inspiring.
It's a sportsman spirit that is also required in entrepreneurship. It's like never give up attitude, because you are being hit by challenges every other day. So I completely agree and relate to this. But Lior, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a really insightful, enjoyable session. And I hope that this session will also add value to the audience that they're listening. In case if any of the companies would like to work with Moburst, reach out to Lior on LinkedIn. He's very responsive. And I can vouch for the company because I've heard Moburst many times in my network in Israel. So really trustworthy guys. So feel free to reach out. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today on SaaS Unlocked. We hope you gain an insight into how our guest Lior has been creating successful service agency that is changing the way we do business in mobile marketing. We wish you all the best, Lior, for your future endeavors, and hope that what you heard today will help you unlock growth. Until next time, this is Pratik signing off.